All right. Hello, everyone. Glad you could join us today. My name's Matt Johnson. Here shortly, I'm going to be joined by Apollo Ted, aka Zach, who is our head of product and technology. And thanks for your patience. While we're pretty old school and old hat to the technology world, we're pretty new to the live streaming world. So definitely send us a note or a text if something is off here, and we'll try and get it fixed. But really just wanted to spend today, this AMA, with a little bit of background for those who are just new to Apollo, tell you what it's all about, and then follow up with a little bit of roadmap review. I think that's kind of the power of what we've done with our Trello board, showing the different stages we are of different initiatives, and allow people then to ask questions to round things out in an AMA. But definitely looking for feedback. Hoping that we get some great content that you guys could learn more about the project with, and then eventually share. So again, I'm Matt. This is Zach joining me here, and appreciate you joining. So first, if you don't know a lot about Apollo, it's essentially a token in a DAO ecosystem. So back in January, released the token, which is the entry point or the governance, basically to vote for creators. So we have been passionate about bringing beauty and joy to the world for a long time. I've told the story about my son getting ready to graduate from college, who's a musician, and I always felt like he struggled to find community and funding for a lot of the initiatives he wanted to do. So that was kind of the inspiration for this project. So basically every week we have a creator contest. We're in beta right now, and so far we've given away about $40,000 worth of Apollo. As we come out of beta, we're working on, which I'll touch on the roadmap a little bit, some new ways of distributing prizes that scale with the economies of crypto, and some opportunities to help these creators even earn more if they're helping drive key performance things within our ecosystem, like bringing in new voters, which I think is important to everyone involved here. But it's exciting for me to have these stories and to meet these people. Over the last several weeks, I've met with 3 of these 4 contest creator winners so far, and amazing human beings. They got great vision, passion, and intelligence, and to see them actually be awarded with money that was driven by this community is really satisfying. I think they're going to do some great things and continue to bring people into our project. A little bit about the technical details. It's a Ethereum based ERC20 token. You can buy it through Uniswap. It's probably the most approachable way, but we're also on a few exchanges like LBank and Bitmart and XT as well, if you prefer the centralized route. And we're constantly looking at ways to reduce friction and bring more people into the project, by forming new partnerships, either with exchanges or with, ways that people can buy through other services to, not have to go through all the hoops of getting into crypto. So that's us in a nutshell. I just wanted to bring everyone up to speed if you haven't been part of the project. So here, let's disconnect. All right. So first thing I want to do here is just give a few shout outs. We have amazing communities. If you haven't joined one already, our Telegram channel, which we'll post up here later, and our Discord are the 2 most active. Obviously, we're on Twitter as well, doing a lot of activity there. But on the Telegram specific, I spend a lot of my time there. I should be better. We have Noah and Caleb, who are great, that kind of manage the Discord. But 3 guys that I just want to call out this week that have really been, positive and helped give us some great hard questions to ask about the project, and just want to give them a shout out. So Sven, Corey, and Music Fan, if you're watching, appreciate you guys. Keep up the good work. We're always looking for people that, want to take that step beyond just being consumers of our product, but actually want to be creators themselves, that want to kind of push the mission and the initiative out to grow. So really appreciate all that you've done for the community. So I'm just going to hop in. We want to leave a lot of time for any questions that you have about the project. So I mentioned our roadmap before, and that's what we call a Trello board. So I'm going to pull that up here and share that. And what this is kind of a breakdown of all the different tasks that we have going on right now. And that's isn't inclusive of everything. Obviously, we can't list everything that's going on because it's not ready to share yet, or it might get too granular in terms of all the work that Zach and his team are doing. But this is a great way that we found to have discussions about different things that are going on. So I'm just going to run through kind of like what's been completed over the last couple of weeks, what we have in the queue, and if anyone kind of read my desk notes that I posted to Twitter yesterday, you can get a sense of some of the exciting stuff that's coming in the pipeline. But just want to kind of seed our discussion or our AMA, with a couple of highlights and catalysts that are going on right now, and then allow people to ask some questions around that or anything really that they want to ask questions on. So I'll just kind of go through a few here. Yeah, as you can see, it's been quite a journey so far, even over a few months. These are all our completed columns. So every time that we finish an initiative or a task, it goes into one of these complete columns for a week, and that's how we kind of keep track of where we've come from and all the things that we've accomplished. And then at the front of the stack, you can kind of see like there's the desk notes I was talking about that were published yesterday. But key milestones, we just hit 4,000 token holders, and I have not added that yet. So I'm glad I checked this. So we need to get that on there as well. So just being able to date and show certain milestones that we've accomplished in the project. And it's important for new people that come in to get that rewind of where we've been and how we've done it. So looking at the last couple of weeks, a lot of effort that Zach and his team have been putting in as to, cleaning up this application for voting that we have, and we'll share that here in a second. But once you launch something, which we did about 4 or 5 weeks ago, there's a million different things that come up that are polish related that you didn't anticipate, edge cases, things that aren't the best UX in the world. It doesn't look the same on mobile as it does on the desktop. So Zach and his team really have gone through and said, well, how do we make this as polished as possible as we get ready to move into a full release? So moving from beta to full release. So a lot of these tasks that you see in purple are those kind of things. Editing profiles. We added a pretty big one not too long ago of allowing creators to register at any time. So when we had our first couple of contests, we had to register and vote at the same time, which created these weird situations where you didn't really know all the contestants in the project or in that weekly contest until you may have already voted. Then you can't vote again. So things like that, they come to light. It's an ever evolving project. It's something that's always going to have development work on it. But Zach and his team do an amazing job of kind of finding those things and cleaning them up. On the marketing front, we were running several ads. We've tested over the last couple weeks or so and gotten some good response. We kind of separated the different cohorts. So we have, our creators that we're trying to solicit, and we have other people that want to participate as voters and investors. And we found that the voter investors bucket converts a lot better than the creators are right now. And we're trying to find new strategic ways to bring in creative. And a lot of that really depends on the community here. Everybody knows a creative, to reach out to them, teach them how to get into crypto, and then register for the project. I mean, when we get 5 or 6 people vying for $10,000 every week as it stands right now, it seems like that would be an exciting opportunity for a lot of young creatives to get involved and have a chance at that. We hired a PR firm, really good group. And with all that, our original intent was to, about this time, be going live with PR. But in the spirit of this being a DAO and a community where everyone speaks up and votes, about a week ago, some people raised their hand and said, you know what, I'm not sure. We love the story about how Apollo evolved, but the whole tagline of Inu, which we have since kind of started to move away to and become Apollo Crypto. The Inu remains in the contract, but all of our messaging and branding and social now should be revolved around Apollo Crypto. But also feeling like the cartoon dog might not fully represent what we stand for in this project. We're trying to do something serious here. We have real utility as a project. We're not a meme coin, and we have a a meme kind of feel to us because we wanted that sense of community when we launched that a lot of the other meme coins have. But maybe it's time to move away from that. And the community raised their hand and basically said, we feel this way. So we listened and are now under the process of creating a new logo mark or a new brand mark that Caleb and his group is working on right now. So that's going to be exciting to see. I think we'll see our first kind of glimpses of that next week. But we didn't want to do a big PR push. We didn't want to get into a lot of additional marketing right now before we aligned all the things that are, having the DAO complete and finished and ready to go with the new algorithm. We have the branding updated, and we have the PR firm ready to go with press releases. They're trying to book some morning shows for us right now, trade magazines, and then the next marketing push, which we can measure and see, does the new branding affect how it's driving traffic and driving people to our project versus, the current branding of the cartoon dog. So all that being said, I think that's kind of going to be one of the bigger catalysts that come next week. But that's kind of where we are with PR and marketing. Let's see here. Yeah, so we mentioned the icon design. I think on the community side, we're just putting this placeholder of Army. I put out to the Telegram a couple of days ago that we need to start thinking about what our name is. I'm a big believer that if we have a flag and whatever our group name is called, where we can define ourselves, it energizes the community. It energizes them to go out there and defend ourselves against other projects that we think that we're better at. Crypto has this attitude to it, and I think it's going to be fun to kind of, once we get the new branding mark coming in, to kind of establish that right on its heels of who are we and what do we stand for. Everybody is always asking me about exchanges. As I mentioned in the notes the other day, we are still in discussions, albeit it feels like the world of crypto has slowed down just a little bit with, some of the economic stuff that's going on right now. But we get regular updates from several that we're talking to and just saying, hey, it's still in process. Just be patient. Keep doing what you're doing. Because, guys, they're all looking at these projects and there's thousands of them. And a lot of them can represent, like, they look buttoned up. They look like they have good leadership. They look like they're driving great utility and growing in a very difficult economic time. But it's a proving ground. I mean, they don't want to invest their time and energy and money into projects that are fly by night. So I think we just have to be patient here. We're doing all the right things. We're being diligent and knocking on lots of doors in terms of partnerships and even creative stuff beyond exchanges with how we might monetize. I don't know if you haven't seen the AMA I had a couple weeks ago with Henok. They've got a really cool idea for how we might bring in sponsors to, do a specialized contest and create kind of this revenue generation idea or this revenue generation event that would be the sponsors would have to buy their fee for sponsoring a contest in Apollo, and then we would burn it essentially. And as well as he's talking about doing that with the profits from his ad income on his Apollo crypto show. So I love that. I think the more groups that we can get supporting in their own ways and driving their own kind of initiatives, whether it's evangelizing the project through content like he's doing with highlighting and focusing on creators, or any other ideas for how we drive value and awareness. That's what a DAO is all about. It's not just us as one development entity. We're members of this organization as well, and we're doing all we can to drive those things. But to really scale, we need everybody's support on initiatives like that. I think on the horizon as well, we're getting up on, I have some distributions from some of the centralized exchanges to get ready to burn and distribute to the DAO. As you know, several of them have honored our tokenomics. So every month or every couple of months, depending on our agreement with them, they'll send me the 2% and the 1% out of the transaction fees, and we'll burn them and send them. So it's not a ton, but every little bit helps. And I think that's kind of a cool event that we could celebrate as well. And then a couple other things that are on the horizon. I've mentioned and teased the NFT strategy we've had for a while. Our legal teams are deep into that. I think it's pretty cool and how it relates to both value for Apollo holders, and also something that kind of revolutionizes the way that content is made. So stay tuned on that one. Again, those are things that we have kind of on this, not necessarily the side burner, but that's many lines in the water to drive our vision here. So voting is just the first, and that's the important thing. Is like, we're here to build a great voting organization first, get that right, and then move on to some more interesting and explosive things, I think. So I just want to turn it over to Zach. If you've got anything you want to add to what's going on in your world of the tech, feel free to add that. Otherwise, maybe we can take a few questions before we then cut over and look at some of the stuff currently on the current voting cycle.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yeah, I think you went through just about everything. Summer feels like in tech. I haven't been in it as long as you have. But it always feels like during the summer is when vacations start rolling in. Maybe certain projects start coasting, or you start cranking down on hours a little bit. But we are full throttle, and like you said, we brought up the queue system, and so we're still dealing with a few knock-on effects there because it was kind of a full schema shift of how we store applications in the database. So in short, like right now, you just have a profile, whereas before, when you would submit an application, each application you submitted, say you applied 4 times, you have 4 different applications. Now we've built the idea of a profile, so you just submit your profile 4 times, but it's still the same profile. So there's been some knock-on effects there that we're dealing with, some bug fixes. And then this week, we're really trying to polish up the actual DAO smart contract so that the DAO fund is what's funding future contests instead of the dev wallet. And then just some other things, some CI/CD stuff like on the back end, automating deployments for testing. You kind of brought it up with mobile. For whatever reason, most of the time when I interact with crypto, it's usually through a desktop. For some reason, that just feels safer to me. But it's been made abundantly clear through our analytics that just about everyone interacts with the contest on mobile. And so instead of a desktop first testing approach, we've had to make some changes so that it's real easy to test on mobile, and mobile's become our primary test first for any new features.
Yeah, you bring up a good thing that I didn't touch on really is we mentioned that this DAO algorithm, testing that in our temporary contracts before we go live, and we're calling it 2.0, I guess, because the original DAO that we launched with the token is what we designated as 1.0. It had minimal functionality in it, but what we've been working on over the last several months will be the 2.0 proposal. And the way that DAOs work is we'll put forward the code for that, and then the community will have, if you hold over a certain amount, we can't have everyone and their dog buying into Apollo to be able to vote on this kind of thing. But there has to be a minimum investment threshold, which we're still working out. We'll be able to vote for that 2.0 contract to be integrated. And what it will basically do is allow us to set variability to each week's contest based on a percentage of the DAO. So right now we just feed in the beta prize of $10,000 every month or every week into the contract. This will kind of look at how much engagement is happening across the contest, with both how many creatives are signed up, and then how many voters and new voters are coming in. And we'll have to kind of adjust the dials for this to kind of get it around the same amounts that we want to have every week. But I think there is some great potential upside for creators to win more based on the bonuses for bringing in new holders each week. So there's a lot of things that, as anyone who's been in the community this week knows, that we're constantly trying to refine our rules and improve, voter security and authenticity, and getting away from, people trying to use the contest in an inappropriate way. But I think this is the conversation that we need to continue to have. I mean, I think there's technical ways to do things. There's ways that introduce friction that we don't want to do it. But at the end of the day, we all want to benefit each other in terms of getting the creators well-deserved, bonuses to their prize pool. If they're bringing in new voters, that's kind of the idea that we had at the genesis of this thing. And then quickly after, I know Zach has on his roadmap, you might have mentioned a second ago, but starting next month, I think the focus will really be around voting rewards. So the idea of, great, now we have it kind of set for our creators, and we know what we're doing each week and how we're voting for them. What's the benefit for the continued engagement from the voters? Is it a staking system where they can get, the longer they keep their Apollo, locked up in there for voting and things like that, we give them some bonuses each week. We started this POAP deal with Caleb a couple of weeks ago and went back to the first contest. Even, I think that these are interesting little NFT type holdings that we might key off at some point to understand how you participated over the course of the project. Just looking at lots of little creative experiments and improvements to happen all the time in this iterative design, because that's what we really want out of this project, is to continue to grow little each week, as opposed to, hey, trust us, we shut everything down, then we go away for 3 months and then come back with something that may or may not be relevant. We just need that constant feedback as we grow this project. So it's a great point, Zach. And one other thing I wanted to point out, in messaging the community, we're really focusing now on not only marketing techniques for advertising, but for creating content. So here's a great example today on our blog. And by the way, this is right off our website. If you haven't seen any of this, is a great place to point people that are new to the project or that kind of want to understand a little bit more about what we're doing in terms of giving away these funds and hitting certain milestones. But we added one today that is basically a tech deep dive, I guess you would call it, Zach. I'll let you kind of speak to what it is on events within Etherscan. Is that right?
Yes. So events are basically just like logs on the blockchain. And so it's just kind of a brief walkthrough of like how you can go through logs. And really it kind of just came from, it's a skill that I learned when investigating new tokens to invest in or looking at. And it's things like, okay, well, if I don't like minting in a contract, well, I can go ahead and now I know how to track how many times it's been minted, or even if they have ever minted before. And so it's just a nice little tool that Etherscan has built in, and it just kind of walks you through how to use it.
Yeah, and we hope to do a lot more of these little tech dives, just to, there's a lot of things that I've learned that people, and you just assume a lot in crypto that people understand, things like how to view the contract source on Etherscan, or even on our DAO voting website, being able to get a complete audit each week of where all the votes came from, which is really important for the transparency of everything that we're doing here. So we just want to kind of not assume anything and continue to generate articles that, are of value, but give us feedback on that. If you think this is too far, let us know. If you think you'd like to continue to see articles like this, we'd love to know as well. All right, Zach, do you have anything else you want to add, or I guess we can switch over and start looking at some questions that anyone might have?
No, I don't think so. Any questions are welcome.
All right, so feel free in the chat. Just put something in there. We'll throw it up there. So I'll say, oh, thank you, Foxy. So I met Foxy when investing in a couple other projects when I was just getting started within this last year. And she's been an amazing supporter of everything that we've done since. Appreciate that. Thanks, Kale. Yeah, so I agree with, the more educational stuff we can put out there in terms of onboarding and learning crypto, the better. It was a little bit harder than I think we expected to teach people how to get into the project. And I think there's some awesome stuff. I mean, Zach, you had sent me something from Coinbase the other day. Maybe you could talk to a little bit where they're talking about making it easier to get people in.
Yeah, it feels like there's all these little tiny pieces coming together. It's one thing to try to get crypto people interested in your project. It is another person to get your grandma into Apollo. And Coinbase seems to be doing a little bit of a merging. So you're in the Coinbase wallet app and the Coinbase Exchange app. Well, it looks like the Coinbase Exchange app is they're going to add a browser there, and they're going to give you they call it semi-custodial. We'll see exactly what that means. A semi-custodial wallet within Coinbase Exchange, so that now they say it's in beta. We're trying to get a hold of that beta. we're trying to see if I'm holding ETH in my Coinbase Exchange app, follow through their browser just in the Coinbase Exchange app. So it's not a huge thing, but it does cut out the step of telling people, well, now you need a wallet and you've got to send ETH over to that wallet. And what is a wallet? Why can't I just leave it in an exchange? So we're really hoping that that works out, that I can just buy ETH on my Coinbase Exchange app, go to the browser, buy Apollo, all within the Coinbase Exchange app. So we'll see.
Right. In addition to that, I'll mention that when I went to the FTX conference in the Bahamas last month, I met with a couple of groups that are similar, like MoonPay. I'm sure everyone's heard of. But groups like this, that we could actually embed widgets within the website to allow them to buy ETH directly in their wallet. And I think MetaMask has this. I've tried to use it a couple of times, but there's been some oddities. It hadn't worked exactly right. But even just cutting out the step of having to go through a full separate exchange to be able to get ETH in a DeFi wallet to be able to swap for Apollo. Now, ultimate would be if they would list us to buy directly for fiat in the widget on our thing. So they would just have to go through that KYC or know your customer process where they identified, like you would to an exchange, who they are first, and then could directly buy Apollo. There would be kind of, to quote Hinnock, the holy grail of ease of purchase. But, for the time being, we'll look at any of these wins that can remove one step at least from it. So that sounded pretty promising as we dive in and research that a little bit more. Oh, yeah, he wishes. Yeah, I don't know. He had asked a couple of times about it, and he has some really talented friends that were in the process of trying to bring in as creators in this, but I kind of felt that might be a little bit of conflict of interest. He's got enough on his plate right now with his music and college wrapping up that maybe someday if the community feels that's appropriate. But for now, we'll let him tackle his course. All right. That's a good question. A couple of questions here. Do we have a legal team to help navigate regulation? That's a great question. Very topical right now. As you saw earlier this week, some proposals for a bill that would, and I can't remember the name of the organization they're talking about, and maybe even the SEC not being the organization that is at the helm of regulation and management, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, the short answer is for sure we do. We had a legal team review the project right out the gate for when we did the audit associated with the token, and they do a process called the Howey test where it measures up to see like how much of it is a commodity, looks like a utility or a commodity versus a security, and we got a good rating on that, feeling like the DAO and everything that we did to put all the distribute it or make it decentralized immediately by not taking any kind of ICO action or anything to hold back tokens for a team or have to do anything like that really. And the utility associated with it is a big thing. So yeah, we have that group. We also have another group that represents our core business that's working on a few different other initiatives that are ancillary to Apollo. That is one of the best in the industry around that. Helped write a lot of the current regular legislation that surrounds crypto and everything as well. So yeah, we're well covered on that front and have weekly conversations with legal. So I feel well prepared. A follow up here by Corey. Let's see. Also, is there anything that we can be doing as a community to help engage past creators that have been in the contest to reapply? Yeah, that's been an interesting one. I've been a little surprised that they haven't jumped on that. So it could be a couple of reasons. We might need to revisit, with the price. Do we need to kind of lower that each week for creators if they've been kind of priced out of that for some reason and just can't afford to add more to it? Or is it the feeling like, hey, they misunderstood that it's their one shot and done? I do have all the email. They require their email address as they sign up as a creator each week or when they create their original profile. So I do message them and say, hey, come back in. You got a good shot, and we want engaged people and talented people. Like if I want them in there hustling across both their networks and within our socials. So, as long as they're willing to do that and weren't looking to just grab something quick and if it didn't work out, then they're gone. That might not be the type of creator that we want in the contest. So, I think Hopefully that grows and evolves. And I know there's other parties that are, involved with the project that are really looking to source some great next level talent. So I think when that starts to hit and coming out of beta and the PR and the marketing and, some of the improvements to the platform that Zach and his team are working on come out, like that's all going to come together where, oh, wow, just one day we're going to wake up and you're going to see like a mass of creators that are just going to be talking about it. And I already see that kind of in these organic pockets of, I think one of the contestants this week mentioned in her profile video that, yeah, I heard about it from another friend who talked to another friend who got into the contest. So that kind of spread, I think, is just going to happen more and more each week. All right. Another one from Foxy. Yeah, so I kind of mentioned, I think our first foray into that, whether it's, traditional hard lock up your tokens staking for some kind of APY, or whether it's some other unique form of that to secure the voting, stabilize the voting each week. We definitely have that on our roadmap. It's very much in brainstorming right now. Like I said, that's really what we're focused on tackling in July. Once we get all the 2.0 stuff out and the creator contest and all the stuff around the DAO solid, we'll shift very quickly to that. So I'd say for sure that's an immediate plans would be the answer. So I'm not sure you can ask
wow, what a good question.
yourself, but yeah, Ted, what is this accent wall that you have behind you?
That's a good question, Zach. So this is a beautiful accent wall that my wife built. She's gotten very good with the miter saw, and that's a great question. It's good to show off good work.
Yeah. Well done, sir. All right. Is there a way to slow down the creators from cashing out right away due to lack of investors? Is sort of the price action. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one because it kind of goes against the point. If they're cashing out to use it for funds to drive their career, that's what we designed it for. I mean, we settled on that particular amount because we didn't feel like it hurt the project too much if they took that out. But I'd rather focus on that challenge from the idea of incentive and whether the creators have some kind of, growth staking system as well as the voters. I think that could be a creative way to incentivize them. And without getting too much into what our NFT strategy is, I think there's going to be a lot of reasons that people are going to want to hold Apollo long term to participate in that as well. So, yeah, I hear you, but I also, feel the pull of like I want to help these great, amazing people activate on their dreams sooner rather than later. All right. So yeah, we touched on the POAPs. There, like I said, there's no real design on what these are beyond just kind of aesthetic collectibles at this point. But we thought it was important to get them out to everyone, so we didn't get too far behind in case we wanted to key off them at some point for some kind of benefit. I think everybody that's been in a project for a while knows us, and we're very big on loyalty and people that took early risks with us. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something in the future that would, allow that to be a bonus, either associated with some form of staking or some other type of contest related benefit. So great question, Daniel. Right. All right. Anything else in the community? Zach, any other questions non-related to your home improvement that you kind of have in your head?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, cool. All right, guys. Well, I don't want to hold everyone if there's no more questions. Again, you could join our Telegram or our Discord for kind of running conversations all day. And I think several of them are in here. It's a great place to kind of get that real-time information, throw out ideas, kind of see what's happening. And it was, like I said, instrumental in this past week in kind of making some decisions on where the project goes. So it's not like you have to wait for a DAO vote every time that we want to change course or add something different to the project. Literally the icon design and some of the voting strategies and things like that evolved in real time over the last week. So, that gets me excited. I'm so appreciative. Everyone here, it's like I still can't believe it. I mean, you could look at the market, you look at the price. I mean, that's only one KPI as far as I'm concerned. What I care about is like kind of this is a long-term initiative. I care about the passion of the people that we're associated with in the project. I care about creators, and I care about our voters and the people that are creating engagement each week by supporting the project. So can't say thanks enough on that front. I know Zach feels the same way, and we're going to continue to push. I mean, nothing that's happening right now scares us. We've been in this business for a long time. I've been developing software for big brands for over 30 years, and I've seen it all across multiple waves of technology, and nothing here scares me. I think you just push through. That's where I believe champions are made is, when things get hard and when things get scary, you just keep focusing on what that core vision was and you keep driving it. And that's what we're going to continue to do. And we're in a good spot, and I love our idea, and some of the new ideas that are even coming down around it are even more powerful. So definitely connect with us. Thank you for supporting the project. And we hope you guys have a good rest of the week and look forward to chatting with you again next week. Thanks, everyone.